I just checked my credit score and it's a whopping 825, but how was I able to do it? It's actually quite simple, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it step by step and how you can too. What's up guys? For those of you that are new, my name is Humphrey and I make videos here on YouTube on personal finance and entrepreneurship. In today's video, we're gonna cover how to build up your credit score to that elusive 800 and up number. The benefits of having an 800 and up credit score are actually quite enormous. First of all, you get approved for like every credit card, like pretty much instantly. And also, if you wanted to refinance or even take out a mortgage, you're gonna get a really low rate on your interest. By getting the lowest interest rate, you're gonna save thousands of dollars in your lifetime, and it's literally free money, guys. So getting the best credit score is always preferred. So by watching this video, I hope that you're gonna learn exactly how the credit score is factored and exactly what steps you can take to actually get the highest possible credit score. I'm hoping that these tips actually help your credit score go up, and in the long run, you actually save a bunch of money. None of these tips will cost you any money, but they will take a little bit of time and patience to get there. All I ask is that if you find the information valuable in this video, just hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you're new. So here are the exact steps that I took, and number one, we're gonna start off with Autopay. Autopay is actually really important, and it's one of the reasons why my credit score is so high. Because your payment history accounts for 35% of your FICO credit score, having Autopay on just means that you're never gonna miss a payment. In my opinion, you should always have Autopay on where applicable, because this is gonna save you a lot of headache, and also by having Autopay on, it ensures that you're never gonna miss a payment. In the case of credit cards, this is especially important, and let's talk about that real quick. On credit cards, you can actually carry a balance, so that means how much money you owe to the credit card. You can actually owe them money from month to month, but if you don't make the minimum payment, what's gonna happen is they're gonna count that as a missed payment, and that's actually gonna affect your credit score negatively. To illustrate how important making a payment on time is, I'm gonna show you this graphic right here. If you make 99% of your payments on time, you get a B, as in basically you fall in the 650 to 700 credit score range. But even if you just drop to 98%, that'll most likely drop your credit score. 98%, by the way, is pretty high still in my opinion, but that's the equivalent of missing one payment out of 50. So literally with your credit score, you cannot afford to miss a single payment, because even missing a single payment is gonna bring down your score. So my solution to that? Autopay, because, well, it's easy and basically it ensures that your credit will always stay intact. The second thing that I did to get my credit score really high is I opened 2 to 3 credit cards when I was younger. This may seem counterintuitive, but let me explain. Credit utilization is the next biggest factor of your credit score, and it makes up 30% of your score. But what is credit utilization? Essentially, lenders look at how much available credit you have and how much of it you're using. If you're using too much of it, you're deemed risky. And what exactly is too much? Basically 20 to 30%. So that's right. So having a credit limit of $10,000, if you're actually using or carrying a balance more than $3,000 from month to month, that could actually be viewed negatively in the eyes of a lender and basically negatively impact your credit score. I've even heard of some friends who've left 20 or 25%, basically using 20 or 25% of their credit utilization, and their score has actually gone down. So the first rule here is, I believe that you should always leave the smallest possible balance on your credit card. In addition to making monthly minimum payments, basically having the lowest possible balance on your credit card means you have a low credit utilization ratio, which looks good in the eyes of lenders. There are some people out there that say leaving a balance can actually show a credit card company that you're good at managing your debt, but I personally don't believe in that. I personally think if you can pay off your credit card in full every month, that you're just gonna be way better off in the long run. I personally just treat my credit card like cash, so anytime I use my credit card, I know that I at least have to have that money in the bank to actually cover that payment. So the real reason why I open 2 to 3 credit cards is that every time you open a new credit card, your credit limit is increased by the amount of that credit card. What I mean by this is if you have one credit card and the credit limit is $2,000, well, your total available credit is $2,000. But if you opened up another credit card and your new credit card actually had another limit of $2,000, then all of a sudden your total available credit grows to $4,000. So because your total available credit just doubled, whatever money or balance that you carried on your first credit card now looks proportionally smaller, and your credit utilization ratio actually goes down, which looks better in the eyes of lenders, and therefore your credit score might actually go up. If you just have one credit card, you can definitely consider opening another, but make sure that it's within reason and that you're just not going crazy opening up credit card after credit card after credit card, because too many hard inquiries are going to actually hurt your credit, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The next thing that I did when I was younger to get such a high credit score was actually called the Authorized User Hack. If you don't know what the Authorized User Hack is, it's basically asking someone with an already established credit line to add you as an authorized user on their credit. So let's say your mom has a credit card and she has really, really great credit and she always pays off her balance on time. She probably has a really great credit score. What you can do is go ask your mom, hey, can I be added as an authorized user on your account? By doing this when you're young, you can actually kickstart your credit building because it's going to establish a credit history starting from basically before the age of 18. And the way this works is by adding yourself to someone else's credit card as an authorized user, you actually build a credit score early on because you're piggybacking off of that person's credit. So this is really important. If you're being added as an authorized user on someone else's account, make sure that that person is trustworthy and has good credit, because if they have bad credit, you're actually just doing yourself a disservice. The third reason why my credit score is so high is simply put, I've had my credit lines for a really, really long time. AKA my credit length history is actually quite long. The length of your credit history is actually accounting for 15% of your credit score, and there's really no real good way around this. You just have to have credit lines open for a really, really long time. Besides having patience and starting early, you just have to kind of wait this one out. Now, when I was young, I started my authorized user experience when I was 17, and I've had basically a bill in my name since I was the age of 17, and I'm 32 now, so that's 15 years of credit history. To get the best score, you'll need an average length of credit history of over 9 years. Now, there is one thing that you should know, which is credit bureaus look at the average length of your credit history rather than the total length of your credit history. That means if you had one credit card that you opened up 2 years ago, your length of credit history is 2 years. However, if you opened up a second credit card today, you're actually adding another credit line, and your average length of credit history is probably less than 2 years after that. The credit bureaus are checking your average length of credit over all of your credit lines. That also means that you shouldn't close a credit card unless you absolutely have to. Basically, if you have a credit card that's been open for, let's say, 10 years, that means the total length of that credit card has been open for 10 years. And if the rest of your credit lines have been open for less, by closing that one credit card, you could actually bring down your average length of credit history. The fourth reason why my credit is so high, and also the fourth factor of your credit score, is the number of credit lines that you have access to. This is sometimes also known as credit mix. By having more credit available, this actually might help your credit score because it means you're making more on-time payments across all your different credit lines. Having a healthy mix of credit also shows lenders that you're trustworthy because you can manage debt on different types of credit lines, such as you could have one that's a loan, one that's a car loan, one that's a credit card bill, and one that's a utility bill. Now, don't go and add credit lines just because you can. Like, don't obviously go get a car loan even though you don't need one just to boost up your credit. That's kind of not sensible, but basically having a healthy mix of credit is going to help your credit score. I personally think the reason why my credit score is so high is that I have a few different credit lines. So I have 3 credit cards, plus I had a car loan that I just recently paid off, and I've always had a utility bill in my name since I was young. And lastly, the reason why I think my credit score is so high personally is that I've rarely asked for new types of credit in the past 15 years. Types of new credit can actually affect your score about 10% as well. Research shows that opening several credit cards in a short amount of time represents a greater risk. If you're asking for too many new credit lines all the time, basically the lender's thinking, man, this guy is pretty risky, or this gal is pretty risky, because basically they might just be asking for new lines of credit just so that they can charge something to that new credit line and then just run away. So how do credit bureaus know if you're asking for new credit lines? Well, that's something called a hard inquiry. In the world of credit, there are hard inquiries and there are soft inquiries. An example of a soft inquiry is when you're checking your own credit with an app like Credit Karma that's never going to hurt your credit. Another example of a soft inquiry is when a credit card sends you in the mail like a pre-approved offer. That's always a soft pull because to actually apply for a credit card is a hard pull, and I'm going to talk about that right now. But before we go on, what I'll do is in the description below, I'll leave a link to soft inquiries and hard inquiries so you can see the exact differences between the two. So every time you do a hard pull on your credit, those are the things that will impact your score negatively, especially if you're having too many hard pulls in a short amount of time. When you apply for a credit card, a car loan, a real loan, a mortgage, for example, these are examples of hard pulls. Having too many hard inquiries on your credit score can be a bad thing, but the good news is that they're only temporary. Hard inquiries only show up on your credit report for 2 years, and it impacts your score only for a year. If you're looking for one new credit card, for example, chances are that if you apply for one credit card, that's one hard pull, and if you're not doing that too many times, it's not going to negatively impact your credit too much. Now, if you start applying for 5 credit cards and maybe a car loan within a 6-month period, now that might not be suggested. So having too many hard pulls could actually affect your credit score to the the tune of 10%. One of the most common questions I get is, especially when you're looking for a mortgage, you're shopping around for rates, you're gonna go to bank to bank to bank to ask for a rate. Well, they're gonna hard pull you every single time. But credit bureaus know this, and so what they actually do is they'll group together mortgage inquiries as one inquiry. So yeah, that was it. So those are the credit score factors, and basically the reason why I think I have an 825 credit score can be summarized as follows. First, I've never missed a payment. I've always had Autopay on. Second, I never utilized too much of my credit, so I've always kept my credit utilization under 20%. Also, second is I got added as an authorized user on my parents' account when I was quite young. Third, I've had my credit history for over 15 years now. Fourth, I have a healthy mix of credit, so I have a car loan, as I said before, that I've paid off. I have had a utility bill, and I have 3 credit cards. And lastly, I don't really get hard pulls too often, so there aren't many times where I'm asking for new credit and getting hard inquiries. If you follow these steps step by step, you too can have above an 800 credit score. What it does take though is time, patience, and just knowing how a credit score is factored. So I hope that with this video that you got some value out of it. If you did, please drop it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell because I drop a video here on YouTube once or twice a week. Also, follow me on Instagram. My username is Humphrey Talks. I post there pretty much daily, so if you're just bored scrolling the gram and you like to see me, well, that's where I'll be. Lastly, if you'd like a free stock valued up to $1,600 now when you deposit $100 with Webull, please click the link in my description below. And finally, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of my Patreon members. So I will leave you guys on the credits right here. I do a lot of research and planning for these videos, so if you enjoyed it, please also consider checking out my Patreon in the description below. That's it. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.